right? Follow me. Each batch of this categorized data is called a block. Then each block is linked together, right? So let's say block A has 10 batches of data together in a block, and block A is linked to block B, block C. It is linked in such a way it forms kind of like a chain-like structure, and that's where you get the name blockchain, right? Are we following? Right, that's where we get the name blockchain. It's just simple and straightforward. Now, uh, what is a decentralized network? How does it differ? What does it really do? We talked about the internet. Truly, what the internet is just a connection of systems around the globe sharing information across each other. It might be more complex than that, but that's the simplest form for internet. Sharing of information across systems connected across the globe. Now, let me differentiate between what happens on the internet and on a decentralized network like a blockchain. On the internet, let's say there are 10 connected systems, right? And a system has a specific information. That system can decide to share that information with other systems within the network, right? But if there is no other copy of that particular information on other systems, right? And that system that has the information gets corrupted, it means that that information will be lost, most likely, right? Because it doesn't have any other copy of that information. Alright, so I was explaining how the internet works, right? So it's called a centralized network, right? So platforms like your Facebook, your WhatsApp, they have centralized servers, right? And these servers, once a server is hacked, like if something happens to your Twitter server, you realize that globally Twitter lags or it shuts down because it uses a centralized system. On the other hand, a decentralized network, this is a system where the data or information is copied across all the systems in the blockchain. So there is not just one copy of that particular data. The data is copied across all systems within the network. Now, what happens if a particular system within the network is corrupted? The data still exists, right? The data is not corrupted, so it can still be gotten, it can still be used, right? That is one advantage of a decentralized network, right? So let me give an example. WhatsApp, for instance, sometimes when you're looking at a contact on WhatsApp, there is somewhere you see that WhatsApp has encrypted messages, right? Now, the difference between the encryption on WhatsApp and on a blockchain is WhatsApp uses a centralized system, a blockchain uses a decentralized system. Both are encrypted data, but because of the decentralized network of the blockchain, it is more secure, it offers more security. You might be asking what is encryption in a big grammar. It's just simply the system converting a data or an information from just human readable information to computer language, right? I'm sure if you did elementary computer science, you know that computers have their own language, the binary system.
Sorry to cut you short. Please, can you repeat the meaning of encryption for the newbies that don't understand? Just do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm saying encryption is just the conversion of the system converting human readable information or data to computer language where it can be transferred easily and then only gives access to authorized information. Now, the process of that conversion, the process of converting that data to computer language is known as hashing. Is known as hashing, right? Now, different systems have different methods of encryption, right? So, only authorized systems within the network have the hashing process for the network, right? So, the way, for example, the way hashing is done on Bitcoin blockchain will be different from the way hashing is done on a Solana blockchain or Ethereum blockchain or Initverse blockchain, right? So encryption is just converting that data to computer language so that it's easily stored by the network. Uh, why, when you look at it, I told you that the front runners of the data economy is majorly artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. But we realize that it seems AI has a faster mass adoption than blockchain technology. And you ask yourself why. I think blockchain cryptocurrency has been here since 2009, right? And AI just started popping up recently, and almost all companies, all platforms already have an AI tool. So why does it seem that blockchain technology is not getting the same attention as AI, right? That's what we want to look into. Uh, so let me give you some uh, pros and cons of blockchain technology, right? And in this, you see why it seems that blockchain technology isn't getting as much attention as AI, right? So one of the advantages of blockchain technology, we've already talked about the security. So it has encryption, it has the decentralized network, and the way it stores data in a form that is not easily altered, right? It's not easily altered. There is also the privacy aspect, right? It means that if you are not on the network, right? If you don't have access to the network, to the decentralized network on which it's built, you do not get to see what is behind certain transactions or data. You cannot have access to certain data, right? Now, there is also transparency. It's just the different systems within the network can access certain data and are able to translate that data into uh, whatever they will need it for, right? So let's say the blockchain network, for example, only if you have access to the blockchain network, that is, let's say you use the blockchain explorer, you're able to see different transactions, right? Now, uh, we are talking about why uh, blockchain isn't getting as much attention as AI. One of or the major reason is what we call the blockchain trilemma, right? The blockchain trilemma. It's just a problem that developers are still trying to solve, and it's more like okay, let me just say it in my own words, but it's more like a blockchain cannot have decentralization, security, and scalability all at the same time on in full capacity, right? So we already know what decentralization is. We know that it's having a large network or a network that shares data, that is copy of data across systems on the network. That is decentralization simply. And we know the inherent security features of a blockchain technology. What is scalability? Why do blockchains need scalability? I don't know if you've ever been on a website, not because of your internet connection, but somehow the website is lagging or the website crashes all of a sudden. Why does it happen? It's what we call scalability. How a system can process uh, transactions, or how a system can process data, transfer data, and receive data without lagging or without crashing. And on the blockchain, it is at what cost can that data be transferred? At what cost can that data be received? Right now, that is one of the bottlenecks that blockchain technology has, right? And it's not getting as much attention as AI. Now, the second reason is the big firms. We talked about the public trust in different companies during the service economy, right? The trust put into institutions during service economy and during the service economy era, right? These big firms have still not found a way to harness blockchain technology in such a way that they retain they retain that public trust, right? They still enforce that public trust. So yes, many or some a few companies have started using blockchain technology, right? But they they are not able to carry it, or they are not able to use it on a large scale, right? And it's something that is still being worked on, right? So let's move on to some applications of blockchain technology, right? We have the most popular, the cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency? For me, like if I'm to define it in its simplest form, cryptocurrency is just using blockchain technology to store financial records, to store financial data. That is what cryptocurrency is, using blockchain technology to store financial records, right? You look at a blockchain explorer and you notice you see information of a sender, the transaction hash that contains transaction amounts, transaction fees, and the receiver. So what cryptocurrency does is kind of replace the banking system, right? So the trust you place in the institution of a bank is gotten or is placed on the network, on the decentralized network, right? So it builds a trustless system where there is no need for a middleman during a transaction, because one of the major uh, roles of a bank is simply record transactions or keep records of transactions. You send money from Mr. A to Mr. B, and it just keeps that financial records and charges a fee. Yes, they keep your money, but you see, using the blockchain technology, you have full ownership of your money or full ownership of your funds without being charged on it. If you have a bank account, depending on your bank, you get charges like account maintenance, card maintenance, and the rest. But you can have your funds sitting on a crypto wallet for days and you don't get charged anything, right? That's one of the advantages of blockchain technology. It gives you full ownership of your data, and in terms of cryptocurrency, it gives you full ownership of your funds, right? Then we also have the NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Uh, Let me explain non-fungible tokens in a very simple manner, right? In economics, one of the features, one of the characteristics of money is fungibility. It means two items that are similar, having the same intrinsic value, right? So if I have two $1,000, don't say it on my mouth. Two 1,000 naira notes, right? They can both be used interchangeably, right? It means that if I ask you which 1,000 naira notes you would like, you wouldn't mind getting anyone, right? So the two can be used interchangeably. One can take the place of the other. Now, non-fungible tokens are items that have different intrinsic values. Different intrinsic values. Let me use an example. An artist or a painter, or let me say a musician goes to the studio and records two songs. What happens? Why would one blow up than the other one? It's the same artist. It might even be the same producer that produces the songs. But why do they have different? Why does the crowd react differently to the different songs? It's because they have different intrinsic values, even if they are still the same thing from the same person, right? So non-fungible tokens are just non-fungible items represented on the blockchain, right? So, for example, in 2020, we had people buying the NFT boom. People were buying images, different images for thousands of dollars, and I don't know if you people experienced it, but it was crazy. Images of rocks for thousands of dollars. It's because they felt uh, it had intrinsic value and maybe some other fundamentals that they might have looked at because of the moment they were in, right? So non-fungible token is also an application of blockchain technology. But beyond cryptocurrency, NFTs, there are other uses or other applications of blockchain technology. You can use blockchain technology in healthcare, supply chain, even in voting. Now, let me explain how you can use blockchain technology in healthcare so that it gives you an insight, right, to the power of blockchain technology. So, let's say you go to a hospital and you register, right? And you do a series of tests, and the hospital has your health record, right? And then after a while, for some reason, you relocate to another state, or okay, let's just use the situation of another state. And in that state where you go, the hospital doesn't have another branch where you relocated to, right? You now have to go to another hospital and pay another registration fees and do the same series of tests that you've done just to have another health record in the hospital, right? So it's more like you are doing something again and again, especially if you relocate a lot. So if a solution is built using blockchain technology, it will just simply involve storing personal health records on the blockchain in which the patients or the users have a private key or a passcode that only them can now give and authorize other people to actually use or have access to the data on their health record, right? So if, for example, I go to a hospital, I do the test, and everything, my whole health record is stored on a blockchain network, for instance, and then I relocate to somewhere else and go to another hospital that has a similar architectural design. All I have to do is give them access to my private key, and they'll be able to go through or see my health record without me having to maybe register again or doing another series of tests, right? So this gives you an insight into the power of blockchain technology, right? And it goes beyond that. There are many other applications of blockchain technologies in which I believe many people are still building, right? Many people are still building. but it's, let's just say it takes serious amount of work and I think idea, right? We'll come to that. Um, let's quickly move to opportunities, opportunities in the cryptocurrency space, right? To explain this, to explain this, I like to use, I like to borrow the technique used in Rich Dad Poor Dad, a book by Robert Kiyosaki, and he called it the quadrants, cash flow quadrants, right? It's basically just categorizing different cash flow systems based on different criteria. So you have the employee, the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor. Now, as an employee, right, your you use your skills and your time to earn, but it means you're working for someone else, right? Now, in some cases, or in very good cases, right, if you're involved in the blockchain space, in the cryptocurrency space, right, it gives you a certain advantage, right? So you have a different level of freedom than a normal person working 9 to 5 within his geographical location. That is going to work. You have to commute to work daily, right? You can work from home because it allows you to work without restriction to your geographical location, right? So you might see you might see situations of I don't know if you've experienced this, but you're going somewhere and you're stopped at a police checkpoint, for instance, and they see you can afford certain things, even when it seems the situation of the country is bad. And it's actually triggers a psychological response in them because they feel that if a young guy that probably stays at home, they don't know what you're doing at home, can afford certain things that they go to work every day cannot afford. It creates a conflict within them, right? Now, one very good thing about being involved in the cryptocurrency space is the way it keeps you afloat. So let me give you a personal experience. I had a friend in 2020. He came to me and was asking me. He told me he wanted to get involved in the cryptocurrency space. Basically, he was asking what and what, and I told him that since because he told me he was scared, he didn't want his money to vanish, he had heard stories. I told him, okay, the only thing you have to do is just buy stable coins and keep, right? As at that time in 2020, the exchange rate was around 500 naira per dollar, right? And according to him, he had like a million naira to use at the moment. If he had used that 1 million naira, it would have given him $2,000, right? Now we are in 2026 and the current exchange rate is about 1,400 and something dollars, right? That $2,000 would have been almost 3 million naira now. And if you say you wanted to keep that 1 million naira to use to get something or like to purchase something, right? Now, yes, inflation, the price of that thing would have gone up. But if you had saved 1 million naira in the bank, it surely won't be able to get you what you wanted to buy, firstly. But the essence of being in the cryptocurrency space is if he had converted it to stable coins, for instance, and he had by now it would have been worth like 3 million naira, he might have been able to purchase that item he wanted to and still have change on top, right? So it's just one of those advantages. So opportunities, yes, as an employee, you can work as an ambassador for a different project, just like Victor, right? Working for Initverse, right? And it gives you different options. It's only when I want to use Naira that I have to convert. So imagine something, and uh, especially with the new tax law that's been talking about, that's been making the rounds on the internet in Nigeria. Now, you know that for every transaction you make or any money that comes into your accounts, they might tax you this percent, this percent. But if you tell someone, you don't have to worry about that. If you have crypto, just send to me. The person will really, like, it creates frictionless transaction, right? So you don't have to be worried about the bank transaction or tax or the rest, right? Then we also have the investment contracts, and it's the essence of being an investor is using capital as your leverage, right? So in the employee quadrant, you use your time and your skill to leverage to earn. In the self-employee, yes, you're still using your time and your skill to earn, and you're working for yourself. You're not working for someone. Now, when it comes to business ownership, right, you're leveraging other people's time and skill, right, to earn. That is, you are utilizing other people's time and skill. But in investor quadrants, right, you are using capital as your leverage, right? Now, let me give you your capital will determine at what scale you operate, right? So some people get investing wrong. Let me give you a scenario. Three people want to invest in a token. One has $100, one has $1,000, and the other one has $10,000, right? And let's say they invest in a token. The first person let's say the first person, his target is to make $1,000. He will basically need 10x his capital, right? And you know what 10x means? For a token to appreciate about 10,000%, right? So it puts you on the edge, right? Now, the person that invested $1,000 to make another $1,000 target, all he needs is 100% appreciation in the token price, right? Which can be very achievable depending on fundamentals and market conditions. But the person investing with $10,000, for him, $1,000 is just, the token just has to do 10%, right? Of these three, who do you think will be more relaxed about investing? The third person, right? So, investing, your capital determines at what scale you operate, right? So, and then it also, if you understand this, you stop pressuring yourself, right? You see someone say he made $20,000. You don't know how much he invested, but you with your $100, you start saying you also want to operate at the same scale. So it gives you a different perspective to invest in, right? Uh, I think let's. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Okay. So I think with this we should have understood, even as a beginner, you have gotten an insight to what blockchain and cryptocurrency is really about, right? You know that you have different opportunities in the space, right? And how to also plug yourself in there. I think the other speakers are going to handle deeper aspects of it so that you get a better understanding. But I hope I've been able to lay a good foundation and broken down complex ideas. Right? Alright, thank you. Okay.
Can you talk about the cons of a blockchain?
Yeah, I mentioned blockchain paradigm. Yeah.
say like that with a big round of applause for Mr. Edwin. Thank you so much for that. So I believe you all were listening attentively. But before I ask my own question, because I'm asking a question from the speaker's point of view, I want you to do something. It's like an image check. So when I said image, you said verse. Image, verse. Image, verse. When I said image, you said verse. Image, verse. I didn't hear that. That energy is too low. Come on. When I said image, you said verse. Image, verse. Image, verse. When I said image, you said verse. Image, verse. I don't want anybody sleeping here, so if you guys were listening attentively, you would have learned a lot from the speaker when he said, he talked about web 2 and web 3. So now I want to throw a question to the audience. The question is for what he said. Define web 2 and web 3, like kind of differentiate it in its own words. How we explain it. Okay.
Said web 2 allowed for only read and write impressions, then web 3 allowed for read, write, and no.
Come again.
Said web 2 allowed for only read and write impressions, then web 3 allows for read, write, and
A round of applause for me. We got it right. So we have a surprise gift for you after the event comes to an end. Thank you so much for listening. So I'll be bringing up the second speaker on my list, which is Mr. Ukwala Basifrigis. He's a community manager. You don't have to stand up for it. Let me introduce you properly. So his name is Mr. Ukwala Basifrigis, a community manager, a blockchain analyst, and he's sharing an insight on the topic web3 unpacked, the real insight, risks, opportunities, and what it means for you. A big round of applause for him.
I don't like the response at all. I say good afternoon. Good afternoon. You guys tired? GM. Which tired? Alright, don't mind the modern brush, just like my so much. I'm very happy to be here. The first speaker who happened to be my boss and leader did awesome justice to blockchain and web3 generally. So at some point I was wondering what am I going to say here or time like this. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk on or I'm going to unpack web3. So my main focus will be to tell you the insights, the risks involved in web3, because that's the part that most speakers don't want to talk about. You know, everything you do, there's a risk. So I'm going to tell you the risks involved in web3, the opportunities which my boss did justice to it, and then what web3 really means for you as an individual. You know, we are living in an era that things are happening so fast that if you are not strong, you keep passing by. So you agree with me that every generation is new technology emerge. So this technology, they don't just improve our livelihood, but most of them put powers into our hand. And that is what Web3 does, giving us ownership. You know, when the internet comes, it displays information and everybody has access to information. The printing press came, you know, before books used to be very limited. But the printing press came and made it literally everybody. So Web3 now is attempting something more deeper than what Web2 did. It's attempting something more deeper than what printing press does. So that is the question that you should ask me or ask yourself. What really is Web3? Who can answer the question? What really is Web3? Okay. Some people might think that Web3 is about Web3 is about cryptocurrencies, meme coins, cryptocurrencies only. But in the real sense, Web3 is far more than that. Web3 is a structural change in how digital systems are owned and governed. The first thing I know about Web2, so I'm going to just make it small, very small. So the first thing I said that Web2 like normal internet and everything, but then let's take our social media like Facebook to Web2. The platform usually control everything. If you like, get millions and thousands of followers, it's controlled by the platform. You don't own anything. You don't own your content there. You don't own your followers. You don't own your fans. Just one slight policy change, one restriction. Just like in November last year, I lost my Facebook account, I lost my followers, I lost everything. So that's what the two does. You don't have access to your content. You don't have access, you don't own it. It's owned by the platform. So, why does Web3 exist? Now, Web3 is not just image from nowhere. You don't just sit down and say, oh, we are tired of Web2. Let's move to the next phase of 3. So, it emerged because existing systems already stopped working for too many people. You know, many institutions collapsed under corruption, many were inefficient. Data was harvested without your consent, and then your location limits the opportunities you get in Web2. One day, Web3 steps in. It comes to redesign the system, and it gives access that replaces the permission we had before. Are you hearing me? Am I talking to somebody here? So, Web3 right now is not at its peak, but we are heading there. It's going to remove the ceiling that was imposed on us by the legacy system. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is opportunities in the Web3 ecosystem. So I'm going to just touch it shallowly. You know, if you go to events, people discuss Web3 from the Western perspective, the Silicon Valley, and the rest. So I'm going to try my possible best to bring Web3 back home to Nigeria, to Africa. We all know that in Western countries, they have technology enough. You know, it's their way of life. But here, our access to technology is like a privilege. We don't share the same advantage we share out there. It's like a privilege here. And then Web3 is trying to bridge that gap. So I'm going to talk on a couple of opportunities present in the Web3 ecosystem. And the first one is financial access, where banks fail. Now, Web3 came to open a wide financial door. You know, before you send money across, you need to go to the Western Union or every other mutual aid to change money. But now, you can actually transact to anywhere in the world seamlessly in seconds. And before Web3, you know, before you can send this money, the fee might be half of the amount you want to change, as you want to send, right? But in Web3, it offers you minimal fee for transaction, because even if you want to send like $1,000, $10,000, I think maybe don't charge you like $1, right? So Web3 aims to stand in where financial banks, where our regular banks fail. And it also offers an amazing opportunity for freelancers, remote workers, to get payment very cheap. And if you're doing business, instead for you to exchange dollars for naira, you can actually do that from the comfort of your home with your phone. So one of the opportunities that Web3 brings is replacing our traditional banks and giving us a seamless way of making transactions, receiving payments, and the rest. So if you know stablecoins, the USDT and the rest, you tend to agree with me that the value moves faster and without permission. So Web3 is not just a relation again, it's an infrastructure, or you can call it an architecture. So the next opportunity, I'll call this opportunity number 2, is the ability or an access to work without geography. Before now, if you get work abroad, you need to literally travel to the country that you have the job to work. But Web3 now give us an opportunity to work anywhere in the world. And the case, like I said, you can work at the comfort of your home. You're not going to work. You're not receiving every day to go from 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. before you make a video. So Web3 now give us an opportunity to work without geographical restrictions. So there are many things you can do on the Web3 platform. You don't need to be a techie. You don't need to know how to code before you can make a video out of the thing. You don't need to learn all the smart contracts, codings, and the rest. The opportunities for everyone in the Web3 ecosystem. You can work as a community manager, you can work as a moderator, you can work as a researcher, you can work as a data analyst. There are ample opportunities in the Web3 ecosystem for you to work. You don't need visa to work when it comes to Web3. You don't need a local office, except maybe you want to set up a workspace in your home, so you don't need a specific office to work. You don't need permission. And sometimes you don't need a CV, because your wallet becomes your identity, your contribution becomes your resume. This is why many Africans, like my boss, the Jessica, succeed in the Web3 industry. All right, the next opportunity I want to touch slightly is creativity without gatekeepers. Opportunity number 3, creativity without gatekeepers. You should agree with me, of course, that Nigerians, we are the most creative people in the world, right? But then, we are more often limited because of our geographical location. Now, a Nigerian creator might make more sense than an American creator, but an American creator ends more because of where it is located, right? Now, when they comes in and introduce something very radical, something very unusual, royalties is no longer paid for creators by companies that sign them. Royalties is being generated by code. You don't have direct access to your fans. You don't sleep and get scared that, maybe Facebook will deactivate your accounts and you lose all your followers and the rest. So Web3 is not just about NFT hypes. Web3 is more, and it gives us the ability to control our intellectual property. All right, so I'm going to talk about opportunity number 4. Are you following? We already understand decentralization generally. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk much about that. So decentralization can actually be a way of life. Communities solve problems when institutions fail. Informal systems already exist where there is a hate over other people. But in decentralized organizations, decentralized autonomous organizations, you actually give the same rights with other people in the organization. So, Web3 give us the rights, equal rights as a community, not as institutions. So, opportunity number 5, I'm going to run this through it so I can look at the risks involved, because that's the major thing I want to talk about today. Opportunities number 5, brother. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship without permission. Most times, starting a business can be very demanding. You need to find the policy, you need to find capital to access to capital rather. But then, Web3 allows experimentation without waiting. You can have digital communities, digital cooperative, and microeconomies online. So, if someone asks you, what are the Web3 opportunities in Africa? You should be bold to tell them that the Web3 opportunities in Africa is not limited to trading. That in Africa, in Nigeria, that we have ample opportunities in the Web3 ecosystem. Alright, so quickly, I'm going to talk about the risks involved in Web3. So this is the part I won't lie to you, because actually there are risks. And if you tend to ignore these risks, you will lose money. So I want to be very responsible for you right now, because Web3 can destroy you if you're not prepared. That's the truth. Web3 can destroy you if you are not prepared. So risk number 1, quickly. Financial ignorance is the first risk I want to talk about. We are living in Nigeria, all of us won't make up at all, we won't make up at all. So now, the economic pressure is too much, and we are always tempted by the offer to double our money. You get something like $300, at the end of the month, you get $200. So it's quite tempting, right? So I'm here to tell you that it's dangerous, it's risky. Web3 is brutal. The moment you put your money in it, it's gone. There is no customer service going to reach out. Once the money leaves your wallet, once you invest, if it's fake, it's gone. You can't get it back, no matter what you do. So in Web3, the prices don't care about your rents. There are no reforms, there are no deadlines. I should talk about it. So most of the people that lose money in Web3, they don't lose it because they have bad luck. Most of them lose money because of the bad decisions they make. Am I somebody? So risk number 2, scams designed for our context. Risk number 2, scams designed for our context. I want to be very honest, and I want us to be honest with ourselves. Many scams are specifically designed for Africans because they don't like and move. Alright. So you see airdrops come up, fake airdrops. You tap, and most times they'll ask you, okay, you tap the airdrop and you see like $10,000. And they'll ask you to I think put in a fee of $50 where you can get access to your $10,000. And you put it. These scams are designed for us because they know that we need a move. So the fake airdrops are there, and sometimes you see an account impersonating Elon Musk, chatting you up, and you be like, oh, Elon Musk just messaged you. I must take cash out now. So impersonation of trusted figures, technical manipulation, and guaranteed returns are the things you should watch out for, because most of them are scam. So because decentralization removes the middleman, it also removes your protection. So it is now your responsibility to protect yourself. If you don't verify something, you lose money. And when you lose, you don't have anybody to blame. So maybe let's look at risk number 3, technical ignorance. Some people can be very, very nonchalant, or if there's a bigger way to use. Now you open a wallet, let's say like a trust wallet account, and then they give you a seed phrase. People need to store it very well. We don't need to hear this. I want to tell you, whether you're already in the 3, or you are onboarding, or you have plans to in the future. Once you lose your private key, it is gone forever. You sign the wrong transaction, it is irreversible. The 3 is not yet user friendly. We've got a very blunt with you. So these are the risks involved. And the point I'm trying to make here is that freedom comes with responsibility. Alright, so let me brush through the risks of the things I have to say. The risks, whether it is regulation reality, although it is global, law is local. Now, risk number 5, psychological traps. When you see an influencer at a certain point, you now jump in, buy it, the next moment it drops. That is a psychological trap set for you, and you fall for it. Alright, let's be unfortunate. So the next thing I want to talk before I leave here is a real shift. I call this the paradigm shift. From money to leverage. You're writing the real shift from money to leverage. If you are approaching Web3 with the mindset of how do I make money, you might struggle to make it for real. The better question is, what leverage does it give me? Now, Web3 gives you leverage over your identity. It gives you leverage over your assets. It gives you leverage over your work. The thing is not a fast money-making platform. It is a long-term positioning. And if you position well, that's when you actually earn it. So, what does it mean for you as a withdraw? You don't need to be a developer. You don't need to master all the coding techniques before you make it from a trade. The thing is not asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be present. Where are we getting? So, this is the moment for you to shift your posture as an individual, as someone that's coming on board with me, or as someone that's been in the Web3 ecosystem for a while. It's time for you to shift your posture from merely being a consumer to consciously participating. From chasing price to seeking understanding. From fear of the unknown to informed. You need the kind of literacy that will make you to ask questions. You need the kind of knowledge that will make you to ask important questions and make informed exploration. So, before I leave, I want to tell you this, that Web3 is guaranteed to succeed. No matter what, whether you lose or you don't lose in it, Web3 is guaranteed to succeed. But then, it is a taste. What does it taste? A taste of whether we can build systems that don't exploit. A taste of whether transparency can survive breach. A taste of whether distributed power can be used responsibly. The future is not shaped by technology, it's shaped by who understands its aim and who uses it ethically. Because for the first time in digital history, the user is not the product, the user is the owner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ubo Magasi. That was very, very wonderful. A big round of applause once again for Mr. Ubo Magasi. Thank you, sir. So on this note, I'll be asking another question with reference to what you said, only for those that were listening attentively. So we talked about grade 3, why it was explained to read in grade 3. Who can tell me the exact word? It was just the one, like 2 words that it used for when you're experiencing a risk in grade 3. What was the risk 3 we talked about? I didn't want a current answer. No. Excuse me. I didn't want a current answer. So please can you ask another question from what she said because that's out of the way.
I'm going to ask a very simple question. What, according to how I said it and what I said, what really is your brain?
Structural change.
Web3 is structural change in how digital assets are owned and governed.
Correct. A big round of applause for her. That means she was listening. Thank you so much for paying attention. So we have a very important person in the house. I'd like to introduce someone that has the Web3 up here in New York. His name is Mr. Dominic, the owner of Techcom. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it properly. You can also pronunciation is well.
Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here. And thank you for having me and for giving me the opportunity. We have a take-off we always feel right. And the free program running for you to learn any tech skills you want and any tech skills. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Yeah. And you can also join our community. You're welcome to come and learn the whole lot. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for showing up. That was beautiful. A round of applause once again for him. He said GMGM. Oh, did I not say GMGM yet? GMGM once again, guys. Okay, that's the vibe. Even family, are we learning or we are learning? I didn't get that. Even family, are we learning or we are learning? I hope you got something right. From the first speaker to the second speaker. So I would like to introduce my third speaker. I would like to introduce my third speaker. It's the ICE. The Ultra. I don't know if you guys know what Ultra is because it's a Web3 project on X. You guys can go and follow me. So this man right here is the owner of Ultra, a Web3 project that you need to start building with. Welcome, sir. You'll be taking us on the topic. I think you need to introduce that because it's way up.
Everybody wants to clap for me. So, first of all, I want to say God bless the person that brought this seat. Because I was thinking how I stand here and some people are saying, this guy is very tall. So, permit me to sit down, right?
You're welcome.
And before I sit down, I want to apologize for coming in late. I was hooked up somewhere, but I'm here. That's the basic thing. So, like you were saying, I run Gold Tribe. I founded Gold Tribe sometime in March last year. And for now, it's not a project. It's more of like a community, a safe space for persons who want to build their portfolio in the Web3 space and do many other things in Web2 as well. We're not just limited to Web3 alone. So we're a developer who wants to join us. I've seen, I think, one of our community members. We shut down operations December. I'm not here to show myself, but let me use that opportunity. So I am a law student and I'm a web3 creative, and I'll be taking you guys on something called compliance and regulation. The topic is law, and I would love this to be quite interactive. I don't like dull places, please. So as you're writing, please listen, because I'll be throwing a few questions to you guys so that we can. Okay, so my time is very limited, so I will try to be fast. So I would like to start by saying that in every decentralized space, there is a little or somewhat little form of centralization, whether I like to believe it or not. The speakers here have kind of done justice to what Web3 is all about, and I will not delve much into that. So my topic is about compliance and regulation, navigating policy frameworks while building scalable, sustainable digital businesses. And compliance is actually a Web2 thing. If you agree with me, I study law, so I have been able to intern with a few law firms that work for certain businesses. And these businesses at times will come to these law firms and ask these law firms to help them do certain stuff, check their records, see whether they are compliant with certain laws, check their tax records. There's something you do as a business to register on CAC. I don't want to delve into that deeply because I don't find my time is really limited. So when you talk about compliance, it's just basically being in sync with certain laws. I'm sure you heard of the new tax laws, right? So we are between very insane transaction narrations. So even if it's fufu you're buying, you say fufu not income. Or somebody is sending you 2K, you say it's for ice cream, it's not income. Sorry to tell you that it is unnecessary. If you read the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, it will tell you more, read more, please. So that you will not gonna start to do. So being compliant just simply means you're in alignment with rules, you're in alignment with basic tenets you're supposed to follow. And we think Web3 came to give everybody freedom. Web3 came to remove that bottleneck that was already there. So why should there be compliance? Why should we have regulations in the first place? Because that is the Web2 concept. Laws, when you sign up on Facebook, you see long list of stuff. Then you have to take a box. I have read and I have accepted the terms and conditions outlined in this. And it's always a small print and it's very long. It's a strategy. You will not read what is there, definitely. It's something that we do in the legal profession, so we get it. So it's there. Why? And I'll tell you why you actually need compliance regulations. One, man needs rules. Even God knew it when in Genesis 1. He told Adam, go into the world, have dominion. Man will have just stayed on his own, just enjoying there. Trust me, believe me. But so man needs certain rules. Even God had to tell Adam, do not eat from this tree. It was a lay down law which he eventually broke. So you can see that man naturally needs rules to stay in place. If you were not told, to probably, I don't know which place I can use. Now you go to the road, you see no parking here, no laundry, this and that. If that rule was not there, you see how messed up that place would be. Why? Because man naturally does not like to follow instructions. Man naturally is a personal individual. It's in our nature. Sometimes you want to do the right thing, but then you just be like, what gives? You end up doing certain things. So you need compliance regulations in order to stay fit, to stay in fit. And secondly, it helps you to put yourself in check, put your business in check. There are certain laws that if they were not there, certain businesses will probably crash. You say, those laws are very strict. Yeah, this and that, this and that. But then, if those compliance regulations were not there in the first place, your business will not be thriving as it is. You're told as a business to file certain returns, to declare assets, to track your income and everything. If you're not tracking that, you may find yourself spending more than you earn. You can actually find yourself making losses. You're incurring more losses than profits. So that is why you need to comply. You need those regulations. Are we following? I hope I'm not sounding vague. Please. Okay. So I don't have slides, although I love working with slides. But I had to drop some bullet points last night to help me speak more. So I would like to start by saying that blockchain compliance is not about killing decentralization. Because like I said, we all have this ideology. A lot of persons were like, why tax crypto transactions? Why should we tax it? Because it's part of the space. So you're actually bringing centralization into decentralized technology. But I would like to say that it doesn't do decentralization. It just makes you stay regulated and compliant. That's the first point I would like to state. And then secondly, you can see in many developed countries, there are laws binding cryptocurrency transactions already. It's just that Nigeria has been behind. Whether I like to believe it or not, we have definitely been behind. Like myself, for example, I think this session is about 3 or 4 years and in Web3, and it could have been more if I was not in 2020 when I found out about NFTs and decentralized finance. I was like he was saying, I think the first speaker said something. People were buying crazy stuff for NFTs. You need something on OpenSea. Let's say I am privileged to get probably Dangote's giving pictures at 1 month old. I take a picture of it, I turn it to digital art. I can sell it for I could have sold it back then for $10,000. And there were people that were buying it. I remember the first NFT I went to meet, Ronaldo's first tweets. I was shocked to see that someone had already minted it on OpenSea. So but then I didn't really understand the mechanics of it. And so I left it and went to freelance work. And at the end of the day, I came back to have a Web3 career. So Nigeria has been on that path. We know about these things, but then our own, we're always doing it last. So that is why we need to look at see then setting these compliance regulations, tax laws, exchanges must be registered with SEC. You think it is too authoritarian, but that is what countries that are thriving in this Web3 space are doing. Like the US, for instance, it's just so great that Trump said there will be no tax regulations on cryptocurrencies, and people are jumping, people are happy, and they're positive. They didn't know how many years that was imposed on cryptocurrency. It helped us it helped us blockchain networks stay compliant in the US and in other countries. Dubai is implementing a blockchain curriculum in secondary schools or primary schools. People are learning about it, and they're going to teach them how to stay compliant in the process. So don't think of it as a punishment. See it as another step in developing our reach in the crypto space, in the space. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? If you notice any business that is not compliant with certain laws, they tend to crash. Because compliance helps build one core thing in the discipline. If you're not disciplined, you will not thrive. If you're not consistent, yes, if you're not consistent, that's the word I'm looking for. If you're not consistent, you will not thrive in this space, whether I like to believe it or not. So that is one thing compliance helps. It helps, it gives you more access, whether I like to believe it or not. By the time you see this company pass this certain form of compliance checks and this or that, it will give that company more access to grants, you get more access to grants, you get more public recognition. That is why you see hospitals NHIS accredited and stuff like that. You see business posting it. So it will give more brands, more projects, in my opinion, more visibility than before. Am I making some sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Or am I technical? If I'm too technical, please let me know. Okay. So other things, it will help builders to build better. That's one thing I can see. And I like using Dangote because we've seen how he has grown from an SME to an MSME to become one of, even the biggest businessman in Africa. So we've seen how he has grown over the years, and if you want to check it out, he battled a lot with compliance regulations. This person is coming to inspect this, person is coming to inspect that. It helped him build better. It helped him innovate better. He thought of more possible ways to not just make money, but in the process of making money, how do I stay compliant with the laws that have been placed? So it's more of like that's your is it competence? It's this thing that we do with ourselves. This person is checking on the other person, this person is checking on another person. The other person is doing well in whatever you're doing, and the world will just manage away. I don't want to lose consistency partner, but that's not the word. But it helps. Compliance helps you be devoted to whatever you're doing. You are not just building because you want to build. You're building because you want to. Thank you very much. Accountability partner. Yes, please put your hands together for me. It helps remember. So it serves as an accountability partner for you. You are checking yourself. Am I doing this right? What's my progress in the last 6 months? Stuff like that. That's what compliance does. And so I would like to state that I'll soon round up that compliance should not be seen as something big. It should not be seen as something out of the mix. If you open your X now and you search for blockchain compliance officers, of which by God's grace by the end of the year I will become one, I'm taking a course on that, you can see that there's people open up opportunities. I'm someone that likes 9 to 5. I don't know why people feel it is very weird to love 9 to 5. Anytime I say this, I'm always putting some cool stairs, like the stairs people are doing now. So when I love 9 to 5 jobs, because it keeps me busy, I love being busy, not because I don't really like doing fun stuff. But if I love something, I like putting in so much time into it. So as someone who is a blockchain compliance officer, you have an opportunity to keep blockchain companies, centralized exchanges, and projects in check. Because once I worked for this exchange last year, it's a Nigerian cryptocurrency exchange, and I happened to speak to one of their legal advisors. They told me that they advised me that I should really go into it. Why? Because it's going to become hot-cake very soon. You will see very soon. I've already seen it itself. I think there was this company that was looking for a compliance officer. The pay was about $450,000 to $700,000 a year. So imagine making that amount of money a year. I will not be here with you guys after all. So praise the Lord. So it opens you to opportunities because, like I said, Web2, and I would like to shift a bit from this. Web2 was mostly read, write, and it later brought in the end aspects. And then Web3 came, you do not just read, you do not just write, you implement. You do not just implement alone. So you gain experience in the process. Web2 was sucking from us. Now Web3 is helping us suck from it. Praise the Lord. So you do not just see compliance as something big, see it as an opportunity to stand out, an opportunity to build better, to improve yourself better. And compliance helps to differentiate innovation from fraud. Like, how many of us did airdrops in 2024? I think that was when the airdrop, a lot of persons were onboarded into Web3. But those who did airdrops before 2024, let's say 2021, 2022, know how technical airdrops were. before you can make $50 from airdrops, you have sweated your soul. Like, oh God, let's not go into that. That is still for another day. So you know fraudulent projects because they cannot meet certain compliance requirements. You see companies opening up and selling, banks opening up and selling. Why? When it was time for returns, when it was time for them to submit reports, they didn't meet certain quotas, they didn't meet certain requirements. That is what compliance is. You know real innovation from fraudulent ones. You do not start backing, for instance now. If Initverse does not meet certain requirements in the Nigerian market, it cannot operate in Nigeria. Do you get what I'm saying? So you are able to know which projects to back, which projects you feel fine. If I want to camp with Initverse, I will make my time has finished.
Yes, sir.
This was so you know which projects to back, you know what to do, and you know where to pivot to. You don't just go anywhere and that is sinking sand and then you sink with them and join. No. Are we understanding me? And compliance helps for mass adoption. If this, I think if certain crypto projects didn't get validation from the US, then I like using US because it's more of like a world power, and when it comes to US makes a particular decision. Like now, in Trump, I remember when Trump said something about Doge. Was it Doge? Because a link came out when Trump was shot. Because that Doge logo was placed on his face. Immediately everybody started buying Doge. So it seems like almost validations we get is from the US. And so I would say that one thing the US has done is to push for mass adoption in terms of cryptocurrency. Crypto cards are very rampant, but it's not clear that if someone should hold a solo level Mastercard, it's like a normal thing. My uncle that stays abroad, he told me of how the other day, one small boy in front of him was about to slot in his, I've forgotten, his XRP he mentioned, was about to pay for something with his crypto card, and it broke, and he was like, I have to get it, I'll get something tomorrow morning. It's a normal thing. It's our boss. Our own ship, we will still cry. So see compliance as something that will help mass adoption, see it as something that will build cryptocurrency more in Nigeria. We have more reputable brands, more reputable projects coming out from the heart of Africa. And I remain Ice. Thank you very much for having me, and have a very good day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alex, for that wonderful explanation on that topic. And then he said something, I hope you guys will listen. He said something. I want to ask a question. He said that helps us to get voted in a course. Even when we don't want to be what you have to do it to stay focused. What was that thing he said? It's just a long word.
Compliance.
Okay. A round of applause for him. Got it correct. Okay, guys, we're going to shake the room a little. Please, what's funny over there? I want you to stay focused. Focus on me. GM, guys. GM, guys. I don't like that energy. GM, guys. Okay, we're going to shake the room a little. So, starting from the first row, you'll be coming upward. I want to pick the golden paper here. And then get back to the stage. Please do it very snappy because we have very limited time. It's right here. Yes, please. Do not open your golden paper until I tell you to do so. Please just pick, don't select, just pick anyone behind you and then get back to your seat. When I say Initverse, you say verse. Initverse. When I say you say verse. Initverse. No, that's not the energy, that's not the vibe. Come on. When I say you say verse. Initverse. When I say you say verse. Initverse. That's the vibe, snappy, we have resident card. And for those of you that did not understand Web3, those of you that don't understand anything, don't worry, it's okay for you to confuse. Because sometimes, when you're not studying as a youth, you can get so confused. All the time, you get to understand everything. But just do the right thing, take a look. Because if this is okay, make reference to. Thank you guys. If everybody gets to go back. What happened? What happened? Mr. Freeman, what's the problem? I'm not sure it was part of our argument, because the big boy is the box now. So big boy, open your folded paper. If you have an eye, stand to your feet. If you have a, stand to your feet. If you have another eye, stand to your feet. I'm not seeing anybody stand up. What's going on? If you have another eye, stand to your feet. N, I, T, V, E, R, S, and E. That's Initverse. Congratulations, guys. You have surprises for us. A round of applause for our winners. A round of applause for those that did so a round of applause for them. Very nice. So we're going to do something else. Someone will come over. Ben, can you bring a sheet of paper and then take down the sheets? Okay, sit down. Thank you so much for participating. And then we're going to do something. First of all, while you're seated here, take a selfie. Put something on X with a very nice caption. A very nice caption that will tell the world what's going on right now at Initverse video. While you're doing that, there is a surprise again, so do it and take it very seriously. So guys, I don't understand, what are you doing? What's that? Dude, what's that? Okay, I get it. So post an X and then post a very nice caption that explains that something big is happening in your case about Initverse, the web3 project. And then tag me, the host, tag the convener, Mr. Phillips. I'll shake tags around. Ben is please come around. So you tag the convener, tag Mr. Simeon, one of the speakers, tag Mr. Obasi, and tag Mr. Ice. Tag them and then submit your link to the post on WhatsApp group. That's if you join the WhatsApp when you register. If you all join WhatsApp group, you guys, if you all join WhatsApp group, because that's the only qualification. Sorry for the breaking transmission. So guys, did you listen to me? I don't know if you guys heard me. Are you all on the WhatsApp group?
What is the price?
Come on! It's a surprise. I don't have to announce it. So hold your breath and then do what you ask on the WhatsApp. What's going on? Okay, if you're on the WhatsApp group, raise your hands. Come on, this is bad. Okay, please raise your hands. Let me see those that are participating. Okay, I think I have like 7 persons. So for the 7 persons or 6, do what I'm about to repeat. First of all, take a selfie, post an X, put a nice caption, and talk about what is going on right now in video about Initverse for the story back. So, and then you tag the convener, and you tag Initverse. I forgot to mention that. So Ben is going to go around and show you the tags, the angle. So please meet the convener for Mr. Ice Handle. The convener, sir. Mr. Victor, sir. Please. Mr. Ice Handle, when? Okay. So we'll be sharing the task around. I wish there was a projector. I was hoping to. I would have just put it here, but there's not. So moving on, guys, because we have really limited time. I will invite the convener of Initverse to come on board and introduce someone for our opening remark.
Closing remark.
Sorry, a closing remark rather. A round of applause for Mr. Victor once again.
For coming on to this thank because this is a very short time. You responded very well to the time. I want to say thank you very much. And then, Initverse is a blockchain ecosystem community as I said earlier. So I'm not doing this on my own, so I'm part of it. Simeonkay TV come and be closing. Thank you very much.
Dear guys. At least many people have been seeing my. I've worked with many people here. If they don't know, at least they know me. So I thank everyone for making time for me. At least we have made a day. Was here, like we do a kind of giveaway every week on our platform, on our Telegram handle. We give 100 tokens for the highest participant on our handle. So after now, you look for Initverse Telegram handle. You follow us on all our Twitter, our social media handle. Follow us on our Twitter. And for the giveaway, we said take a screenshot of yourself, a selfie, and post a nice caption of the event you done. What will happen is that after the event, I will go through my handle for those that tag me. We will win of 20,000 there. So this is the criteria for the winning. I will pick the highest like engagement, retweet, and you must tag Initverse. Tag me, you tag Victor, tag all the seekers. That's the criteria. And their price will be announced tomorrow by 12 o'clock. So thank you everyone for making time for today. I think we are done for today. Thank you. Please, for those that win that giveaway, we need the spelling of Initverse. Where are you? I think you should put your name down with your account number.
Let's maintain some decorum, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to. Let me just apologize once again. Yes. I'm just to put a group link here, a WhatsApp group link, where everybody will join the group for those that did not join. And then you get the X tag, X handle there, and then tag them directly instead of going down. But it's fine because we are coming to the close already, and Mr. Simeon has done a closing remark. So for you to still qualify, you have to go downstairs, take that selfie. The word just came to me that you have to go downstairs, take a selfie with the roller banner downstairs, and then post it on X. Did you get it right? So do that now. Once again, I want to thank you guys for coming out for this beautiful event. I want to thank my amazing speakers for dishing out value. I want to thank the convener for making this event possible. And I want to thank you most importantly for coming out. And for those that came out on time, the first 3 persons on my attendance list here will get a surprise gift from me. So be expecting that before I walk out from this premises. So please do well to go downstairs and take a selfie on the roll-up banner. Okay, hold on, you're bringing it up. It's there. Okay. Let's okay, use this one, do not go down here. So you come here, take a selfie, and post it on X. Tag Initverse project, web3 project. Tag the amazing speakers, tag the convener, and tag me the host. And then you drop your link to the post on the WhatsApp group, and then you get your surprise gift. Please, if you're sitting down there at the back to take a selfie, you're not getting the prize from us. You have to come up to this stage, take a short selfie. It's not going to take the time. Just come and take a selfie, post it on X, give a very nice caption, announcing what is happening right now in Yo, and then tag the speakers, tag the convener, tag me the host, and then tag the project Initverse. Thank you guys once again for coming. And for the 3 persons that came on time, the first 3 persons, please meet me because you have something from Initverse. Thank you guys. A round of applause for me. GM, guys. A round of applause for me. I did a good job. And the
See, you have to make sure that you are compliant with your all your transactions. See, you have to be compliant with the make sure
Okay, one last thing. I'll be inviting the owner of the Web3 Hub, Techocom, to talk about his business. And once again, I saw someone smiling at me when I started. You've been smiling at me, and I love that a lot. You encouraged me to stand here. So I'm giving you something from me to you. Thank you for coming. So meet me at the end.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Okay, so at Techocom, we are currently running free upscale classes for any tech skills you want to learn, either 2D animation, 3D animation, cyber security, digital marketing, or web development, mobile development, name it, any tech skill you want to learn. So you can follow us on Twitter, Techocom. The Techocom is not the normal tech, like with K, and then Techocom, TECKCOCOON. Follow us on X, and you will see a post we made for the Twitter for the free classes. Okay, the Techocom is TECK, EOCOON, right? This free is a 2 weeks free class, and you can learn any of the skills that are listed there, and you can leverage on that to start earning in the Web3 space. And Web3 is all about community. Without community, most things won't work, right? So it's an opportunity to be part of the technical community, and then you maximize opportunities where you can also get to earn in the Web3 space. Thank you.